All right. Now let us continue from where we had left. If you remember in the last session, I discussed with you how do we go about preparing Indian polity from prelims perspective. And if you remember, I promised you that in the next session, I'll be focusing on mains. So that is what the entire idea of this particular session would be. We will be focusing on your GS paper to everybody. So for the first 40 minutes, I'll be explaining things that I have in store for you, and the last 20 minutes I'll take up your questions. So बीच में I suggest questions मत पूछिए, उससे आपका भी time खराब होगा and it disturbs the flow of the session. So till 8:50 I'll be speaking to you, and then for next 20 minutes 15 minutes I'll take up your questions. So I think that way we'll be able to deal with anything better. And also we'll discuss a little about answer writing. I'll give you a homework for your answer which we can discuss in next class. Awesome. Okay, Saurabh. PDF is a little difficult to read. I suggest if you can get a hard copy, it's a little easier. If monetarily it's a problem, then you can buy a second-hand copy. But I suggest buying a hard copy of Lakshmikant if it is possible for you. All right. So let's get started, everybody. Let us start talking about your GS paper 2. So आज का जो session है, we'll be focusing on mains. Our entire direction will be focused towards mains, and also maybe I'll be talking about the paper that I take, that I teach, that I believe have a good hold on, that is GS paper 2. Now please understand, this paper is technically divided into four sections. सबसे पहले तो ये समझिए. The first section is your polity and constitution. The second section is your governance. The third section is your international relations, and the fourth section is social justice. So, if you look at the syllabus of your GS paper 2, which by the way, for your entire mains, you should keep a hard copy of syllabus with you. This is my first suggestion to you for today. If you don't already have a hard copy of your main syllabus, make sure you've taken a printout of your GS paper 2 syllabus and keep that copy near you under all circumstances. So make sure you take a printout, read it, reread it, and I'll tell you how syllabus helps in a minute. But for now, please understand that your GS paper 2 is divided into four sections. One is your polity and constitution, second is your governance, third is your IR, and fourth is your social justice. Now, in your entire mains preparation, not just GS paper 2, my dear students, GS paper 3, GS paper 4, any paper that you're preparing for, you have two Brahmastra. These two Brahmastra are your syllabus, and second are your previous year's questions. If you take them lightly, you're going to suffer big time. If you really want to score good marks in your mains, if you want to ensure your selection, then you can't miss out on these two pointers. And I'll tell you why. See, one good thing is with prelims, the problem is we don't have an exhaustive syllabus. So in your UPSC CSE preparation, if you look at your prelim syllabus, it is not very exhaustive, meaning all the pointers are not given to you in great details. It is only a sketchy syllabus. But the good thing with mains is each pointer is given very categorically. Everything is explained in minute details. Everything is given you in a very point wise manner. So the good thing is UPSC sticks to syllabus when it comes to asking questions in mains. Every question that is asked every year can be traced back to one of the topics given in your syllabus. So, my dear students, it's definitely a great idea to rely on your UPSC syllabus. Take a printout of it, read it, reread it. If you can memorize it, nothing like it. And I'll tell you how this helps. So, whenever you memorize the syllabus, let's say today you're reading the newspaper and an article is there on lateral entry into civil services. By the way, this was in news. So if lateral entry is in news, now you know I have a topic in the main syllabus which talks about civil services reforms. Now a new reform is coming up, which is government is taking lateral entry, and there are question marks around this lateral entry. So then I'll be able to connect, all right, this is a part of my syllabus and I have to read it in the newspaper. So some of you keep asking me time and again कि मैम newspaper में क्या पढ़ना है समझ नहीं आता. We don't know what to read in newspaper. So this is your answer. Keep a copy of the syllabus with you at all times and use the pointers given in the syllabus to identify what has to be read in the syllabus or what has to be read in the question paper or not. Now there are twofold benefits of PYQs. First benefit, my dear students, is PYQs are repeated. Now, of course, there won't be verbatim repetition, meaning they'll not ask you exact questions, but the themes remain the same. Sometimes the topic remains the same. Sometimes the language remains the same. So you actually get an idea as to how a question would be asked in your mains by looking at previous year's questions. Not only that, sometimes questions from the static area are also repeated. So it is definitely a good idea to rely on these two Brahmastra first. First is your syllabus, and second is your previous year's questions. Now, do I assume that all of us are on the same page so far? Do we assume that? Are these two pointers absolutely clear to you people? Okay, awesome, Saurav. Great. Do I assume that, everybody? Syllabus, and the second point has to be your previous year's questions. Awesome. Now, this is what the typical division of your main syllabus looks like. For your GS paper 2, you have governance, you have Indian polity and constitution, you have social justice, and you have international relations. Now, this specifically is the syllabus of your Indian polity and constitution. Now, again, I suggest either take a printout or write them down, but write down very, very specifically. For example, you should know that historical underpinnings is part of your syllabus. Basic structure is a part of your syllabus. Around 7 times they've asked a question on basic structure. So it only makes sense that you prepare basic structure in and out. Or look at topics like separation of powers. They have already asked a question on separation of powers, and there can be a repetition of the same. Or there's a topic called salient features of representation of people's act. Again, there have been questions on this topic and will be repeated for sure. So what I'm trying to tell you here, make sure you know the topic, know the syllabus, and this is your homework for today. So go back and read your polity and constitution syllabus. And if you don't understand any topic from it, let's say, ma'am, I don't know what to read up in dispute redressal mechanism. What is the meaning of this? So ask me that. So in the next session that we'll have on 10th, you're supposed to ask me questions from your syllabus so that I know whether you have studied the syllabus in detail or not. So go back, sit with the syllabus, read every point of the syllabus. If you don't understand a point, come back and ask me, ma'am, I don't understand what is the meaning of this conduct of business. What do you mean by that? So I'll explain it to you. So make sure you go back home, you take out the printout, read the topics, and know what the topic is all about. And if you have any questions, come back in the mentorship session and ask. Now, as I told you, what are the benefits of PYQ? Please know that there are repeated questions. Of course, you can't write the same answers. Things have changed. Polity and constitution, IR, governance are dynamic topics. So the answers will not remain the same, but you can definitely expect questions to be repeated. For example, there have been repeated questions on role of speaker, or repeated questions on Article 356, or repeated questions on amendment to the Constitution. So these are some areas where they have repeatedly asked you questions. इसी को हम बोलते हैं identification of themes. All right. You also try and understand what is the analysis of the questions. What kind of questions are asked? So for this, you can either buy a compilation of previous year's questions. For your Indian polity, I have done a little work for you. I mean, before every mentorship exercise, trust me, I also sit back and see how I can help you. So here is where I have thought I can help you. I have divided all the polity questions from last 5 years topic wise. So I've segregated these questions topic wise. And if you want me to provide it, I'll provide it to you. So that way you can look at कि Indian Constitution में historical underpinnings से अभी तक कौन-कौन से questions आए हैं. So for Indian polity, I have done it for you. इसको base बनाकर, considering this as your base, you do the same for your governance, do the same for your IR, and do the same for your social justice. That will help you immensely. So using this, you'll have all the president related questions at one place. And all you have to do is see कि president से आज तक कौन-कौन से questions पूछे गए हैं. So इस तरीके की segregation से, if you segregate your previous year's question into such a category, it's going to be highly useful for you. And then you'll exactly know what to read from in one particular topic. So that's the idea of PYQs. Now, the next question that will come to your mind and should come to your mind is what are the sources. So we already had a detailed discussion on N. Lakshmikant in last lesson, and it was pretty clear that Lakshmikant is definitely not enough for your GS paper 2. So keep no doubt about it that for your mains, Lakshmikant is not going to be enough. But this does not mean you have to forget Lakshmikant. Lakshmikant will still act as your base. So the learnings of Lakshmikant, you can still use it in your answers. You will still use it as facts. You'll still use it as your pointers. So we still have to start with Lakshmikant, but it's not going to be enough. So you have to supplement it with DD Basu. Now, see, you don't need to read all the chapters from DD Basu, but please read the chapter on fundamental rights, read the chapter on DPSP, read the chapter on fundamental duties, also read the chapter on federalism. If you read these 4 chapters, that would be enough. For other chapters, what you can do is just read the introduction and the conclusion. That would be enough. Now, whenever you're giving your exam, the year in which you're writing your mains,
26
a
वाला
lot of
हाँ ले लेगा
compilations are available in the market. So
शायद
these compilation
31
are by
अगस्त रहता है
Vision,
या
for
30
example,
अगस्त
there is
रहता है
PT365.
30
Then
अगस्त तक
Drishti comes
35
up
हो
with a
जाना चाहिए तो सर
compilation.
अप्रैल में
जो
35
भी
हो
आपको
जाए
अच्छा
नहीं
लगता
दे
है, I'm
पाएगा
not here to promote any specific thing.
तो
Anything, any
35 पार
compilation
हो
that
गया
you like,
35 4 महीना
pick
हो
up
गया
that
अगस्त
compilation and prepare. I'll tell you why. So what happens is
हाँ
these
फॉर्म
people
भरने तक उतना
would
होना चाहिए
compile the important topics that have been
26
in
का
news
अटेम्प्ट
for
नहीं
the
दे
last
पाएगा
1 year. So instead of you scratching your head over what was in news, क्या रह गया, क्या miss हो गया,
तो
make
स्टेट
sure
पीसीएस देगा
you read these compilations before you're giving your mains exam. So that way you'll prepare the current topics of
16
that
दिन
particular
15
area. So
14
I
दिन
highly recommend buying a good compilation
और
and reading
टीआई
it
ऐसे
before
करनी
your
है
exams, that is before your mains. Also, make it a
टीआई का तो
habit
वो
to
है
make notes for
और
your
एगो मैम
GS
है
paper
3
2.
गो तो 16 दिन
And
लेते
I'll tell
रहो
you how to make notes. Make your notes as concise as possible. So make sure for one particular topic of your syllabus, you're not using more than 2 pages. So tell yourself, एक topic पे मुझे बिल्कुल छोटे notes बनाने हैं. I'll make micro notes and they should not be more than 2 pages. 2 pages is maximum, my dear students, for one topic of your syllabus. So make sure you make concise notes. Don't make detailed notes. These notes should be as concise as possible. Then make it a habit to prepare keywords of the day. Now, ma'am, what are these keywords? See, are you all of you reading newspapers? Everyone, is everyone here reading newspapers? Awesome. Shrishti has been reading. Others, are we reading newspapers every day? Let's make it a habit. If not already, you should be doing it. नहीं किया है अभी तक तो करना शुरू कर दीजिए. If you're doing it, awesome. So when you read your newspapers, there are certain keywords that are repeated. Awesome, awesome. Most of you are reading. I'm very happy. There are certain keywords that make news every day. So, for example, day before yesterday, there was a key term called white shipping. White shipping. Any idea? There was a Indian Express article which had a keyword called white shipping. Anyone who knows here what is white shipping? Any idea? Do you know what white shipping is? Anyone? Acha, never mind. So, see, ships are categorized into 3 categories: white ships, grey ships, and black ships. So, white, Swagat knows. Okay, awesome. Can we hear you, Swagata? Can we hear you? Please go ahead and tell me what is white shipping.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Uh, I think, ma'am, white shipping, there are types of shipping categories in maritime, actually, commercial use. Uh, it is like a color code which is
Very good.
used to categorize the type of goods and services that used in this shipping industry. Like, I think white is denoted for the legal ships which are registered, and black ship are illegal, and there are something a gray ship or also I do not recall this
Okay.
moment.
You're partially correct. you know the concept, but you have not identified it exactly. But I appreciate you know the concept. Now, let me clear it for you. There are three categories of ships, as Swagata has rightly mentioned. One is white, one is gray, one is black. So, see, white ships होते हैं, which deals with non-military stuff. So, non-military से क्या मतलब है? Maybe something that is related to commercial vehicles. Let's say something is carrying crude oil or clothes, or for that matter, electronic matters. So, these are ships that are not related to military. They are commercial in nature. So, basically, they deal with trade component. Now, gray are the ones that deal with military. So maybe they are with the navy, they are carrying some submarine, they are carrying some kind of equipments of defense, but they have something to do with military carrying capacity. Third are black ships. Now these are illegal ships, meaning they are either involved in trafficking, or drug trafficking, human trafficking, or these ships are carrying some kind of an illegal material. So the term white shipping is used for ships that deal with commercial endeavor of trade. Now, if you're writing your answers in your IR and you mention this word white shipping with relation to international relations, there's a question on Indo-Pacific and you're writing white shipping in there, the examiner understands that you know keywords also. So I highly suggest make it a habit to prepare one keyword a day at least. So something that is in news, something that you have read, something that has come to you in a um, newspaper article that you were reading today or a magazine, whatever. But make sure you prepare one keyword a day at least. You can make a copy also or diary also, which you can call as diary of keywords. And make sure you keep writing these kind of keywords in there. They are going to help you not only for better answer writing, but they're going to be super important for your prelims also. They kind of ask direct questions on these keywords in your prelims too. So that is my suggestion, my dear students. You can also call it concept of the day, keyword of the day, whatever suits you. Now, one more source that is very important for your GS paper 2 mains is your second ARC. Now, before we proceed, first understand what do we mean by ARC. ARC stands for Administrative Reform Commission. ARC stands for Administrative Reform Commission. Now, what is this ARC? See, some years back, and when I say some years, of course, it was published 10 years back. Government had asked the ARC to study what are the problems with the administrative system of our country and come up with a report and give suggestions as to how we can improve the working structure of our country. How can we improve the administrative structure of the country? ये सब study कर लेने के बाद they came up with a report which is called ARC2. Trust me, it is one of the best reports and it is written by the government. So it is a very, very credible source. You can absolutely trust this source. Now I'm going to tell you how this is going to help you. This you can write whenever a question asks for suggestions. A question says give us recommendations. A question says give us a way forward. So whenever they're asking you for some kind of a suggestion, some kind of a recommendation, some kind of a way forward, ARC can be your go-to tool. So make sure you read your ARC. See, reading complete ARC is not possible, but there are a lot of summaries available over Google. So just pick up a nice summary of ARC2 and read this summary and try to reproduce it in your answers, and that will give a lot of weight to your answers. So you can write like this: according to ARC2, so is the suggestion. According to ARC2, so is the suggestion with regards to civil services reforms. So make sure you use your ARC very, very nicely. So if I summarize the sources for you, you have to begin with Lakshmikant. Lakshmikant is not enough. Supplement it with DD Basu. Also make sure you read a compilation before your examination, which are very readily available in the market. Make sure you're making notes which are very concise, to the point, and so concise that you're able to revise it before your mains examination. Make it a habit to prepare concept of the day, keyword of the day. Also make sure you read the summary of second ARC, which you can quote in your answers also. Now, I'll take a 5-minute question break here. If you have any queries abhi tak, please go ahead and ask. Otherwise, we'll proceed. Is everything making sense to you? Do you understand what I'm trying to deliver in here? Is everything getting connected in your heads? Are we on the same page or not? If there is anything that you have to ask, please go ahead before we proceed. Anybody with any questions? Anyone? No questions at all? Awesome. या तो सब समझ में आ रहे हैं या कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा, तभी हो सकता है ये. So I hope it is the first thing, right? सब समझ आ रहा है. हाँ. Awesome, awesome, Gopal. You can take up Subhash Kashyap sir's book also. Yes, please. Didi Basu can be easily replaced with Subhash Kashyap sir's book. Please go ahead with it. No problem at all. But again, don't read cover to cover. Read important chapters. Read introduction, conclusion. Learn the language and you're good to go. All right, Gopal? Fair enough. Chalo. So let us proceed. If you don't have any questions so far, we'll continue. Now, what about current affairs, ma'am? Are they important for GS paper 2? For polity and constitution? Absolutely, they are important. See, in your polity and constitution, a good chunk of your question is from static area, and we can't deny that. But this static is also connected to your current affairs, and you know how this works. Let's say something is in news. Let's say repeatedly there is a question mark on how are the interstate river water disputes solved in India. Let's say an entire year there was a question mark on that. Or let's say there was an entire year where the question mark was on use of nota. So everybody was discussing about nota, everybody was questioning nota. Expect a question on nota in your examination. Now understand what I'm trying to tell you. They will pick up a topic from current affairs and ask a static question on it. So current affairs becomes a base for your static questions also. And that is why current affairs are so significant for your GS paper 2 preparation. And that is why I highly suggest reading The Hindu. Now, some of you may say, ma'am, what about Indian Express? You can completely pick Indian Express also. I don't have a problem. If you are very diligent and if you can manage, pick one newspaper, read it completely, and at least read the editorial of the other newspaper. So, what I mean is, let's say if you're sticking to The Hindu, read The Hindu as your primary newspaper, but at least read the editorials of Indian Express, because trust me, they are very well written editorials which will help you gain a perspective, and you will not kind of have strict opinions about certain issues. Rather, you'll be able to write a very balanced answer which is needed in your civil services examination. So take one newspaper, read it completely, supplement it by reading the editorials of the other newspaper. Also, I suggest you to watch The Big Picture on Sunset TV, which is again a very great way of analyzing stuff. So what they do is they pick up a topic, they discuss it in great detail. There are people from expert backgrounds that sit in the panel, and they have n number of opinions also, and they have n number of analysis also, and these analysis can help you write better answers. So I suggest watching Picture on Sunset TV. If you can't watch it daily, you can make it a habit to watch it like once in a week, take up an important topic, watch it, and move ahead. That would be a good idea. Then, for latest legislation, what do you mean by legislation? Latest laws. तो कोई भी अगर नया law आ रहा है or some amendment has come up, make sure you prepare it very nicely. And for that, you can rely on PRS India, which comes up with a detailed topic analysis whenever there is a new law. So, whenever there is a new law or a new amendment, they kind of go into the details of it and bring about a legislation on the same. So, you can read PRS India for the same. And finally, All India Radio has some good programs. Now, I don't suggest it to kind of go to All India Radio every day, but let's say you're having your food, sorry, maybe it is your evening walk ka time, night walk ka time, morning walk ka time. Wherever you think you can squeeze out some space, you can use these audios by All India Radio on specific topics and get an understanding and nuance of the topics around you. So again, I suggest All India Radio should become one of your source of preparation. Now, so far we have talked about sources. Now let's go to how do you write better answers in your GS paper 2. Now this is very important part of our discussion today, so ध्यान से सुनिएगा. And if you have any problem, once we finish this in another 5 minutes, you please ask me that question. सबसे पहली बात, in your GS paper 2, specifically the portion on polity and constitution, it helps to begin your answers with a constitutional article. So let's say there is a question on fundamental rights. Let's say there is a question on, just give me a minute, everybody. Let's say there is a question on DPSP, or let's say there is a question on, let's say, fundamental duty. There's a question on environment. There's a question on women rights. Any question. And if you can quote a fundamental right related to women's rights, or a DPSP that talks about dignity of women, or a fundamental duty that asks us to respect women, if you can quote these specific articles, this is the best way to begin a question in your polity and constitution paper for your GS paper 2. अब इससे क्या होता है ना, आपके एग्जामिनर को लगता है that this person has a fair understanding of the constitution. So what I suggest you is, at least prepare all the fundamental rights articles, prepare all the DPSP articles, prepare all the fundamental duties articles. This can be your ready source of reference in your GS paper 2. So for polity and constitution, pick up an article, quote it in the beginning of your answer, and you're good to go. So it is a very good idea to begin your answers with constitutional articles. That is your tip number 1 for today. So make sure you quote these articles in your answers, and that will give a weight to your answers. So tip number 1 is prepare at least fundamental right, DPSP, fundamental duties, and quote it while you're writing your answers. All right. Second is you have to present both sides of the issue. अब ये भी मैंने एक बहुत प्रॉब्लम देखी है आपके आंसर्स में, as many answers as I check. See, if the question is not telling you to take sides, let's say question explicitly बोल रहा है कि आपको sides लेने हैं, you have to pick one side, तो बात अलग है. But if the question is not telling you to pick a side explicitly, then please address both sides of the question. Meaning, talk about the pros also, talk about the cons also, and then come to the conclusion. चाहे question बोल रहा है या नहीं बोल रहा है, whether it says critically analyze, whether it says examine, whether it says elucidate, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Make sure you're presenting both sides of the story and coming up with a conclusion. So I repeat, unless it is asking you explicitly that आपको side लेना है, you have to pick one side. Make sure you are addressing both sides of the story and use subheading also. So if there is a question, should India go for presidential style of working? हमें presidential system पे shift हो जाना चाहिए क्या? So you write arguments for, you write arguments against, write like this, write specifically. Arguments for, arguments against. So use subheading while you're writing your answers. Again, let's say there's a question on simultaneous elections. One nation, one election, suna hoga aapne. So write about why having it would be a good idea and what can be the problems of having one nation, one election. And then you give a conclusion. And your conclusion should be based on the pro and the cons as well. So your conclusion should be more like a way forward. कि यार ये प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है, दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम एंड दिस इज द सॉल्यूशन. So you're presenting both sides of the story and you're also giving a way forward of the same. So for your answer writing, tip number 1 is please use constitutional articles. Tip number 2 is present both sides of the story. Unless the question is asking you explicitly to take sides, don't take any sides. Use subheadings. So please break your question into manageable chunks. So for example, if there is a question on GST, talk about salient features. Talk about how GST has cascading effect. Talk about common national market. What are the problems? What can be the way forward? the more easier you are making the subheadings for the examiner, the more easy you're making the life of the examiner. उनके लिए बहुत easy हो जाएगा to check your answers. And the more easy you make it for the examiner, the more happy the examiner would be. And the more happier the examiner is, they are going to reward you with better marks, of course. I hope that is not a problem to understand everybody. So, what I'm trying to tell you here is divide your question into manageable chunks and try to write using subheadings also. Now, some people will tell you you don't need to quote excessive data and statistics. See, I'm going to stand by the fact data बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं लिखना है. But अगर आप relevant facts or figures लिख सकते हैं, if you can quote data of some reputed sources, for example, Transparency International ने बोला India ranks so and so in corruption perception index. So that can become your pointer in your examination. So if you have some data that can prove your argument, है ना, that can prove your argument. If there is some data using which you can prove your argument, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Don't overdo it. Don't quote irrelevant facts and figures, but it is absolutely okay to quote relevant facts and figures, provided they are from right sources. So far हमने क्या डिस्कस करा? आप बार बार आंसर राइटिंग पूछते हैं, इसको आज पढ़ के जाइए एंड मेक श्योर आपके आंसर्स इसी तरीके से लिखे हुए हो. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, इफ यू राइट लाइक दैट, you will definitely be rewarded in your examination. So point number 1 is always begin with constitutional articles. As and when possible, if you can quote constitutional articles, my dear students, that's the best way to do that. Second is present both sides of the story. Talk about arguments against, talk about arguments for, use subheadings, use data and statistics wherever possible, and finally, don't forget to mention Supreme Court judgments. Now, see, there are some landmark judgments that have happened in independent India. Can you name a few? Can you name a few, my dear students? Can you name some judgments that are landmark judgments जो बार बार आप read करते हैं? Most of you are done with your foundation courses, so I'm sure you have done with your polity. Can you name some judgments for me? Case of Nanda Parthi, very, very important. 1973, nobody. S.R. Bhumai, awesome. Minevra Mills, Navteej Singh Johar, very good. Pavitra. और बताओ, और बताओ. Lily Thomas, Olga Tellis, Puttu Swami judgment, very good. Champakaram Durai Rajan, very good. Menaka Gandhi, awesome. A.K. Gopalan, very nice. और बताओ, और बताओ. Indira Sahani judgment, very good. Golaknath, absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. और बताओ. Arna Shanbag case, ट्रिपल तलाक जजमेंट, शाहबानो केस. देखो अभी हमने डिस्कस किया तो कितने सारे आ गए. नालसा, yes, beautiful Gopal, absolutely correct, absolutely 110%. So if I mean give you a very rough estimate, कितने you need to remember? 20, 25 maximum. एक बार में you prepare these 25 judgments and quote it in relevant questions. Your life is sorted. What you can do is, there's a question, particularly a question deals with, let's say, women problems or with regards to women's safety. You quote Vishaka guidelines. You talk about Vishaka versus state of Rajasthan. You're getting my point. So these are some topics that you can keep handy. तैयार करके रख लो. As in when a question comes, you quote it. It will give weight to your answer and you are sorted. So again, one good way to enhance your answer writing is make sure you rely on landmark judgments, and this is going to add authority to your answer, no doubt about it. Then make sure you have some quotes, some recommendations from first ARC, second ARC, Sarkaria Commission. Second ARC मैंने आपको already बोल दिया, try to read the summary, pick up the key pointers from there and quote it as recommendations. If possible for you, use diagrams. Diagrams can help you to show the matter concisely. Let's say कोई question है जिसमें आपसे 3 parts हैं, there are 3 parts to the question, and you are very sure if I'm going to write all the 3 parts now, I'm going to lose out on word limit. मेरा word limit खराब हो जाएगा. I'll not be able to write it. So what you do is 2 parts you write, and for 1 part you make a flow chart. Absolutely कर सकते हो, इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, अच्छे मार्क्स मिलेंगे इसके लिए, कोई घबराने की बात नहीं है. यूज फ्लो चार्ट्स, use diagrams. In your international relations, use maps. I'll teach you that, but go ahead and use flow charts, no problem. That gives a weight to your answer also, and that makes your answer more readable for the examiner as well. So I'd like to conclude my answer writing tips. Use constitutional articles, present both sides of the stories, divide your question into manageable chunks, use subheadings to write your answers, supplement using data and statistics, wherever possible quote judgments also, use the recommendations given by committees and commission, that's a good idea, and wherever possible use illustrations. For example, make diagrams, make maps. That also makes your answer very, very versatile. Now, so far, are we on the same page? Any questions still here before we proceed? Any questions on answer writing? Anything that you want to ask with regards to answer writing? See, all these pointers are very significant. Are you people taking notes? Are you jotting these pointers somewhere? क्योंकि बाद में we tend to forget. See, देखो मेंस का पूरा गेम क्या है, बहुत सारा पढ़ लेंगे, you'll read a lot, but the examiner does not know you for what you have read. They're not concerned about that, right, Pavitra? So they don't care how many pages you've read, how many books you've read, how many years you've spent in the preparation. They are concerned about what do you reproduce in your exam copy. So the entire art of your mains answer writing depends on the fact as to how are you able to convey what you know to the examiner. The better you convey it to the examiner, the more marks you're going to secure. So make it a habit, my dear students, to be very well prepared with your answer writing, be very structured with your answer writing, use relevant facts and figures so that the examiner is impressed with what you have to offer on the table. And before this, please learn to understand the question as well. एक प्रॉब्लम जो मैंने देखी है वो ये देखिए, people read, people write well, but they don't write relevant. If I'm asking you what is your name and you're telling me your daddy's name, I'm not going to give you marks for that. So you need to be very specific and answer only the question that has been asked. For that, you need to analyze the question correctly. So quickly, everybody, any questions on answer writing before we proceed? Anything that you wish to ask from answer writing? सब कुछ clear हो गया बढ़िया से? गोपाल, जागृति, प्रीतम, राहुल, श्रद्धा, Ritika, are we here? Is this part of the discussion clear to everybody? How to write answers? Any questions with regards to this? Okay, very nice, very nice. Jagriti says clear, Ritika says clear. Awesome, awesome. See, I need to know whether we are on the same page or not. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए I'm speaking and nothing is making sense to you. Okay, awesome, Rahul. Great. So I've also given you some questions to look at from mains 2023 just to give you a perspective कि questions कैसे आते हैं. आपको पता होना चाहिए. If you have not already seen mains 2023 का question paper, you should. And अभी तो mains 2024 भी हो जाएंगे, तो हमारे पास एकदम fresh mains का paper आएगा जिसको हम analyze कर सकते हैं. But for now, you can look at these questions. Look at questions like constitutionally guaranteed judicial independence is a prerequisite of democracy. Look at a question where they asked you to compare India's approach with the British approach to parliamentary sovereignty. Now, I'm sure you have read this in your foundation classes, but I'm trying to give you an idea as to how questions are formed. So they'll ask you that discuss the role of presiding officers. Now, this is a factual question, but why did they ask you? Because speaker was in news, presiding officer was in news. There were question marks on the role of the speaker. Or let's say there was a question on constitutional perspective of gender justice. Or there's a question on Article 356, often repeated. So these are the themes that I asked you to pick up. And try to form your questions around these themes. Or they'll ask you a question on latest constitutional amendments. This is also a practice in UPSC. पिछले 10 constitutional amendments आपको अच्छे से आने चाहिए. So at least last 10 you should know in and out. That is also one area where they ask you questions from. So make sure you know at least the last 10 Constitutional Amendment Acts very, very thoroughly. Know about its significance, know the positives, know the negatives, know the limitations, know the way forward. That would be a good idea. So, this, my dear students, sums up everything I want to tell you about polity and constitution. Right from the syllabus and the PYQ, right from the sources to your current affairs and how to write answers. I have answered first part of your GS paper 2. So now I've told you everything about Indian polity and constitution. Next, we are going to talk about IR. But before that, if you have any questions from Indian polity and constitution, please shoot. Any questions? Anything that you, how many of you have kind of started preparing for mains seriously? Started with your answer writing, written your answers, got your answers evaluated. Have we begin with that procedure already? How many of you have started with that procedure already? Or if not, then when are you planning to do that? Ritika, no problem, Ritika. Let's have a timeline. When do you plan to do that? No. Okay, see, I'll tell you something. See, once January comes, let's be realistic. January mid onwards, you'll be too focused towards your prelims. Such bhi hai, hona bhi chahiye. And I'll give you the reason. Prelims is getting difficult day by day. As much as the cutoff falls, the competition increases. And if the paper is tough, the cutoff goes down. So the point being, the idea being, prelims is tough. It's difficult. So you would like to at least devote it time from mid-January onwards. Now you tell me, what time do you have for answer writing left? What are the months that are left with you? Be very technical and answer that. It's September already. So how many months do you think can you dedicate wholly to your mains preparation? Absolutely right, Ritika. Ritika says around 3 months. So now for me, I'll give you a figure here. You should begin with your answer writing as soon as you are even good with 25 to 30% of your syllabus. Please don't wait to complete your syllabus and to begin answer writing. I'll tell you why. See, UPSC answer writing is very different from the answer writing that you do in your university examination. Very, very different. So, hoga kya? You'll carry the same baggage of university answer writing to your UPSC answer writing. You'll not get marks, then you'll get frustrated. So, I have a suggestion. Begin writing your answers even when you're done with, let's say, 25 to 30% of your syllabus. It's okay to write bad answers. You'll have to write at least 25 bad answers, and then the 26th one will be good. ये भी ध्यान रख लेना. 25 बुरे आंसर लिखोगे ना तो 26वां आंसर 26th आंसर would be good. That is also there for sure. पक्का होगा ऐसा. So again, my suggestion to you is begin your answer writing latest by 16th of September. Write one answer a day. Write two answers in one day. I mean, or maybe 3 days, maybe two answers. Pick your difficult, whatever is possible for you, but begin with your answer writing because you'll have to fail at answer writing many times before you actually start writing correct answers. All right. So that is my suggestion to you for today. Now, are there any questions from the polity section, everybody? Or are we okay with the polity section? जो भी doubts, confusions थे सारे clear हो गए for the polity section of GS paper 2. Are we okay with everything? Bolo, yes or no? Awesome. Perfect. Shrishti and Shraddha has a yes. Others, yeah, you have to tell me. So, okay. Also, awesome. Chalo. So then let's move to your international relations area. Let's now talk about international relations. Since we are done with Indian polity and constitution, let's talk about international relations. So this is what the syllabus looks like. Take a look at the syllabus. You can divide it into different categories. First category is India and neighboring countries. So this is where you find India, Nepal, India, Bhutan, India, Afghanistan, India, Bangladesh, India, Maldives, India, Sri Lanka, India, Myanmar, India, Pakistan, India, China, South China Sea. Also disputes around Indian Ocean region. All that is a part of your India and neighboring countries. So basically, in this particular topic, they ask you questions about our neighbors. And every year, one question from this area will come up. So एक question तो आता ही है, either they'll give one on Maldives, one on Myanmar, one on China, कोई भी, but they'll pick up one question definitely every year from this area. That's for sure. Second is they'll go beyond the neighborhood and ask you questions about Central Asia. So countries like Mongolia, maybe countries like UAE, Iran, Israel, or maybe countries like Saudi Arabia. So this is when they go beyond our neighbors and they ask you about neighbors ke beyond. So these are countries which are part of Asia but not our immediate neighbors. Then they'll ask you questions which are beyond our Asia also. So there can be a question on Africa, Australia, US, Germany, France, because these are the countries which are in news. Then they also ask you questions about organizations. For example, there are questions on WTO or IMF or BIMSTEC, BRICS. I'm sure you have read all this in your foundation courses, but I'm trying to segregate the syllabus for you into manageable topics. So essentially, you have to prepare three important areas: India and neighboring countries, then you have India and ASEAN nations, then you have India and other organizations, and then you have some miscellaneous topics like diaspora. What is diaspora, everybody? फाउंडेशन पढ़ के आए हो, पता होना चाहिए what is diaspora. Quickly, what do you mean by diaspora? Anyone? Raise your hands who can answer and I'll ask you to. Awesome. Yes, Ramakrishna, that's the best way to begin. So Ramakrishna Das is absolutely right. The first thing that you should do while you're doing your answer writing is begin with PYQs. That's the perfect way to start. But start and make a promise that you start from this day or this date and follow it religiously. Yes, anyone? What is diaspora? So put it very simply. Pavitra is right. To put it very simply, somebody who traces his or her origin to India but is residing in some other part of the world. So maybe you are not born in India, but your father was born in India, and now you're living in Australia, and you become a part of Indian diaspora. So diaspora is nothing but when somebody, yes, people from our country, but they are now living in different parts of the world. So it is not necessary that they were citizens ever. They might just be born in USA, but their grandfather was an Indian. Even they are included under the definition of diaspora. So they ask you one question on diaspora every year as well. This is roughly the breakup of your syllabus on international relations. Now, let us talk about sources, my dear students. So, what are the sources that can help you prepare? First thing first, you have to finish with your NCRT class 12th. That is the book called Contemporary World Politics. Bataiye ji, how many of you are done with this already? Should have been done with it already. Shrishti is done. Awesome. Others, किसका पेंडिंग? अभी ना अपने आप से प्रॉमिस करो और सारा पेंडिंग करते जाओ, फटाफट फटाफट करते जाओ. तो मेंटरशिप सेशन का फायदा यही होना चाहिए that you are strict with your goals. Very good. Pavitra has also done it, but partially. Pavitra, when do we plan to complete it? Can we have a deadline? Saurav, let's make some deadlines now. Please. Why pending? Why Swagata? Why pending? Let's do it now. Let's complete it. मैं तुम्हें बता रही हूँ, it shouldn't take you more than 2 days. Not more than 2 days, I'm telling you. Why? You're done with your foundation ना. Why pending? तुम लोग को फाउंडेशन में किसी ने बोला नहीं पढ़ने के लिए इस बुक को? I can't believe it. I don't believe it. टीचर्स ने बोला होगा. सच सच बताना, बोला था ना? Were you told to read this book? I'm sure you were. Honestly, be honest. So how would we know about Cold War? How would we know about global terrorism? How would we know about disarmament if we don't read this book? This book is the first basic book that you get to read about IR. बहुत बड़ी बड़ी बुक्स आ जाएंगी IR पे, बट अगर ये नहीं पढ़ा है ना, nothing will make sense to you. So I have a request again, everybody. Keep noting down your pending targets. और अपने आप को टारगेट दो कि मुझे करना ही है. So write it down in your pending target that you have to complete contemporary world politics as soon as possible. So contemporary world politics is your class 12th ki NCRT. That is going to be your first source of preparation, my dear students. Second source is current affairs. So international relations, चाहे prelims में आए, चाहे mains में आए, they ask you n number of questions from current affairs. So n number of questions from current affairs come in your prelims also, and they come in your mains also. So for IR, current affairs is an indispensable source. करना ही करना है, कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है. करंट अफेयर्स यू हैव टू डू. अब ये कैसे करें? Again, I suggest pick up a compilation. You can pick up any, you can pick up PT365, Forum IS, but please don't pick many. Please limit your resources. Rather, only pick one. For your current affairs, you should only pick one compilation. No need of multiple compilations. You just need one and you're good to go. So your class 12th NCRT, one compilation, good enough for your prelims. For your mains, my dear students, I've given you some books. Now, please don't pick all of them. No, 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 no. You just have to pick any one. If you are very fond of reading and if PSIR is your optional, then you might pick two. Otherwise, just pick one and you're good to go. Trust me, for IR, you don't have everything at one place. So there is no consolidated source of IR. That is why compilation helps more than books. However, I still suggest pick one of these books for a conceptual understanding of the topics before you go on to start reading your compilation. So let's say the compilation on India China is talking about Doklam, but if you don't know the history of India China relations, you'll not be able to write good answers. So make sure that you pick up one book, read the background from that book, and supplement it with your current affairs. Are we okay with that, everybody? Now, let me give you some general tips with regards to answer writing on international relations and, in general, how do you prepare international relations. So, these are the books that adequately cover historical perspective. You can pick any one of them and read it topic wise. Don't read them cover to cover. That is not how it is supposed to be read. So you read it topic wise, meaning syllabus का topic देखा, book में topic देखा, पढ़ा, you move ahead. Go to next topic, read, move ahead. You don't have to become a scholar. You just have to know enough to write your answers. That's it. For current affairs, again, I've given you a lot of sources. Pick anything that makes sense to you, but don't pick many. But yes, for your IR, you have to be very thorough with the current affairs. You have to pick up latest magazine, prepare a compilation, but please, before doing that, know the historical perspective also. So if India China is part of your syllabus, then please first know the background of India China relations. By the way, are you done with all this in your foundation course? I guess the background part you would have done in your IR, right? So you can use those notes also. आपको आईआर की जो क्लासेस हुई होंगी ना, उसमें दे मस्ट हैव गिवन यू इंडिया चाइना रिलेशंस कैसे स्टार्ट हुआ, व्हाट इज विद इंडिया पाकिस्तान. सो यू कैन यूज दैट ऑल्सो. एंड इफ यू आर डूइंग दैट, एंड माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, यू डोंट नीड टू पिक एनी बुक. कोई जरूरत नहीं है. मुझे आई नो इट साउंड्स बैड कि मैम तो कोई बुक ही नहीं बता रही, बट आई एम बीइंग वेरी ऑनेस्ट विथ यू. इफ यू हैव गुड मटेरियल देयर, नो, then don't pick any book. Just finish that material and supplement it with current affairs, and you are good to go. So pick that material, supplement it with current affairs, and you are sorted. उसके अलावा और कुछ भी करने की आपको जरूरत नहीं है. Then in fact don't pick any book, because that's going to only complicate. उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है. Now once you understand the historical context, that is when you are going to fill it with current affairs details. So basically historical context plus current affairs is going to make your answers good. Now, I have given you an example to explain this. Let's say there is a question on India-China relations, and you're focusing only about Doklam crisis. You will not get good marks. So you must know how did it start. Or let's say there is a question on India-Sri Lanka, and you are just talking about what happened currently, but you know nothing about the Sinhalese problem. You know nothing about the Sri Lankan civil war. then everything will not make sense to you. So knowing the background is very, very enough, very, very required. There can be two ways you can prepare the background. One, if you've already taken a coaching, then revise it from your coaching material. If you have not done it by any chance, then you pick up any book and be good to go. See, for miscellaneous topics like questions on diaspora, questions on international institutions, don't worry. Just pick up any good coaching material and you're good to go. If your coaching has given you a material for the same, use that. Don't be worried कि मैंने ये नहीं करा वो नहीं करा. One source is more than enough. Supplement it with your current affairs and you're good to go. Then, one more tip, please make maps wherever relevant. So if there is a question on India-Iran relations, and if you can roughly show Chabahar port and just show how it helps us bypass Pakistan and we can reach Afghanistan without needing Pakistan using the Chabahar port. Wow, examiner will be impressed. So use relevant maps. Let's say there is a question on Southeast Asia. Then draw arrows and write about Vietnam, Japan, South Korea. Go ahead and do it. If you can use maps, you draw even rough maps. Nobody is asking you to kind of be meticulous in your drawing. Even if you draw rough maps, it gives an examiner a perspective that is इंसान को आता है. This person knows. Then each bilateral relation or a global grouping is multifaceted. So should be your answers. Please don't make your answers in IR unidimensional. You understand unidimensional, right? कि एजुकेशन ही एजुकेशन पे लिखे जा रहे हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी टेक्नोलॉजी पे लिखे जा रहे हैं. You have to make your answers as comprehensive as possible. Therefore, you have to cover multiple dimensions. Different dimensions of the question should be answered if you really want to score good marks here. So make sure you cover all dimensions of the question. Only then you will be able to write good answers, my dear students. So this is all about IR. तो अभी मैंने आपको क्या क्या बता दिया. From your GS paper 2, we are done with polity and constitution, and we are also done with international relations. Now we are left with two parts to be discussed. One is your social justice and one is your governance, which we'll discuss in the next mentorship session. But for today, if you have any questions, you ask me. And let's also start answer writing practice from today onwards. So I have an idea. I want to give you a question of the day. And on 10th, when we come back, what I want you to do is, and this has to be done very, very diligently, only then all this will make sense. So what you do is, you take this question, my dear students, and you write it. Okay, when we come back, what we'll do is, I'll give you a model answer. So on 10th, I'll present that model answer on screen. I'll write that answer, show it to you, and I want you to compare your answer with the model answer. And then tell me, ma'am, these are the pointers that we missed out on. By the way, let's take 5 minutes and recap all that I've told you today, and then I'll give you that question. So I'll go back to the screen once again, and I'll give you a quick recap of what all pointers we discussed today so that it can be a quick revision for you. Now, this is what we had to discuss. We had to discuss GS paper 2. As I told you, it is divided into 4 parts: polity and constitution, governance, IR, and social justice. As I told you, your Brahmastra are going to be your syllabus and your PYQs. So make sure you have a printout of the syllabus with you at all times. Make sure you've already analyzed your PYQs and you know. Acha, one thing I've promised, I'll be giving you the topic-wise compilation for Indian polity. That I'll give it to you. That's a promise. But for other topics, you'll have to do it on your own. Then we dissected the entire syllabus. I told you what are the subtopics. हमने ये अच्छे से देखा. Then I told you why PYQs are important, why you should be focusing on PYQs and make them your Brahmastra. We also discussed sources. So we talked about how Lakshmikant is not enough for mains. So you have to supplement it with DD Basu or Subhash Kashyap, whatever you have. We talked about the importance of keywords, and we also talked about how Administrative Reform Commission report number 2 has to be read definitely. We discussed about the sources of current affairs also. I gave you some tips on answer writing, which includes quoting constitutional articles, presenting both sides of the story, using subheadings, using data wherever required, using Supreme Court judgments wherever relevant, quoting from committees and commissions, and maybe using some kind of a diagram wherever you need to. Please don't overdo it. Use it very precisely whenever the question demands it. But yes, definitely you can draw flowcharts to make your answers comprehensive. Then, of course, I gave you some kind of a briefing as to what were the questions asked in mains 2023, and then we moved to international relations. We dissected the paper, we understood the syllabus into different pointers. I have given you a homework on reading your NCRT class 12th if you have not done it already. Make sure you complete it. And then we looked at some of the general tips like how you need to know the historical context. Make sure you draw maps wherever possible. You can rely on compilations and you have to make your answers multifaceted. So I think that was a very exhaustive discussion, and I'm hoping that it helped you. So now let us, if you have any questions, please shoot. Otherwise, let me give you the question for the day. Yeah. Any questions? Please go ahead. I'm here. Yes, please, Ritika. Go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Ritika. Please ask your question. Sorry, I can't hear you. Can others hear, Ritika? No. So I guess, Ritika, something is wrong at your end. Guess there's some network issue or something. Chalo, never mind. You take up question for today. If Ritika comes back, we'll definitely go ahead and see what question she has. The question for the day is critically analyze, and you have to note it down in your copies, everybody. Critically analyze one nation, one election. Critically analyze one nation, one election in light of India's federal structure, India's federal structure and diverse regional political landscape. I'm repeating the question for you. Critically analyze one nation, one election in light of India's federal structure and diverse regional political landscape. All right. I'll give you a word limit of 250 words here. Try to write it in 250 words. And then we'll come up with a model answer and we'll compare your answers with the model answer. Okay. Ritika, see, not to promote anybody here, but Arihant has a PYQ compilation. You can use that. Very recently, they have collaborated with Shubhra Ranjan ma'am and they've brought up a PYQ booklet. I think that is also very well done. I've seen it personally and I think it's a good one. No biases here. If you want to pick up, you can pick that up. Otherwise, you can also pick up Disha publication ka mains ka compilation. That is also good. So no problem as such. वैसे भी PYQs हैं. So if you want, you can take it up from UPSC's websites also. The idea is to look at the questions, not the source. मिलना चाहिए कहीं से भी कर. So book I told you. I'll repeat the question. Critically analyze one nation, one election in light of India's federal structure and diverse political landscape. Diverse regional political landscape. Rahul is asking, ma'am, is it a good idea to use Constituent Assembly debates from Indian Constitution book in your answers? Why not? Go ahead and do it, Rahul. Wherever required. H.V. Kamath ne ye bola. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said this about Article 32. Why not? Why not? Any constitutional reference is a good idea. That only gives weight to your answer. बट बी केयरफुल, उसको ऑप्शनल लेवल का मत बना देना. समटाइम्स व्हाट हैपेंस इज, हमारा पीएसआई और ऑप्शनल होता है ना, अंडरस्टैंड लव फॉर द सब्जेक्ट. आई ऑल्सो लव पॉलिटिकल साइंस अ लॉट, बट होता क्या है, वी ट्राई टू मेक इट टू स्कॉलरली. बट यू नीड टू रिमेंबर दैट जीएस आंसर्स हैव टू बी जनरलिस्ट. You can't make them scholarly answers. That has to be reserved for your optional. So वो आपको लाइन ड्रॉ करना आनी चाहिए कि ये कहाँ से जनरलिस्ट से स्पेशलिस्ट हो रहा है. That has to be done. Right, Rahul? Shrishti, have you tried Arihant? I think they are better with their prelims ka compilation. If you're talking about prelims, right? Mains ka to वैसे भी I don't find anything very concrete anywhere. So I don't suggest. But for prelims, I think Disha you can try. Better than any other book. Okay, so all right, everybody, then that's it for today's session. Now we will be meeting on 10th, and what has to be done on 10th, let's take a quick recap. If you're not done with your NCRTs, please complete your NCRTs. Write your answers and come so that we can compare. Look at your syllabus, try to read through the syllabus. If you have any problem in understanding the syllabus, that's the first question that you should be asking me when we meet. Sir is here, I think. Good evening, sir.
Good
So,
evening. How are you? Good.
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm also good. So I'm enjoying my time in Jammu.
Wow, awesome.
So just no, you can complete it. Then I have few words with students right now. Yeah.
Yes, sir, please go ahead. I think I'm done. I guess I covered almost everything.
Okay, dear students. Good evening, everyone, and wish you all happy Ganesh Chaturthi from my side and from their side. So Ganpati Bappa Moria, right? So that's what I have come to just greet you all. And तो गणपति बप्पा मोरिया. So I'm very happy to see you again. But now make sure that you are on the track. I've been telling you again and again that be on the track, right? A few of you are already on track, but again the assignment which is given by mentor, please try to do it. Now Disha publication question bank, one is for prelims exam, another is for mains exam. That you can follow for this. But what I believe is that mains answer you should only refer to the question, but try to write by yourself. Don't copy paste any salt paper mains answer, right? It's better always that you refer such model answer, right? But again, try to frame your own answer. It is true for every subject. It is not that only for Indian polity. It's true for all the subjects that you can refer them, but you should not be totally blinded by it. So don't lose your kind of thought process and your understanding to try to do that one. But again, do's are there. You must have question bank. It's very, very important. Just to make a small announcement, we will be also conducting test. That's what I have come here. I have already spoken to Mr. Ramakrishna that Dia will conduct a test for your mentorship. You'll get scheduled for that. And we'll first start with Neelam ma'am's topic, polity. We are going to first start with Indian polity. We have test paper already ready. You will be given the date and the timing. So what I want, yes. So, yeah, Neelam, you wanted to say something?
No, sir. I think there's some. Now it's fine, sir. There was some audio video lag,
Right.
but I guess
So
it's fine.
that's what I'm trying to make you understand is that please prepare for Indian polity test, right? I would like to add one more thing is that test paper will be given to you. You have to only submit your answer keys, right? Now, whether you do it sincerely, you do it whatever way, we are not going to see that. It's your honesty, your sincerity, right? We will give you the test paper. You take the test and give your answer. Neelam ma'am will discuss those answers. But my question is only there: how you do it, how do you attempt it? It's your sincerity. Whether you look into Google search, mobile phone, textbook, or you honestly do it in 2 hours, it's up to you. But we will give you the question paper. Now you have to do it. Now, one very important thing is that Dia mentorship program, that we are new, but I'm very sure whatever we are trying our level best, whatever our teachers are trying to provide you, that really helps you prepare for the examination. And the next year, when you write the exam, you are the ones to qualify prelims and write mains exam. हम लोग अपनी तरफ से प्रयास कर रहे हैं, आगे आप लोगों को प्रयास करना है, आप लोग अपनी तरफ मेहनत करना है ना। दिया का है ना, बड़े कोचिंग तो हम लोग है नहीं, but whatever we are trying to do, we are trying our level best. So now we want your kind of efforts, right? If you remember that time in the group, so what the group I had, I've removed those people and then deleted the group. Only the reason is that only those who really want to work hard, they will be the part of it. Will not keep anybody. So we have weeded out the people out there. So it's up to you how do you do it there. ठीक है? So जो भी मैम बोल रही हैं आप उसको फॉलो कीजिए and please try to do it. So I will end my session there, right? Ma'am will want to say something, can say that, and I will meet you soon for current affairs mentorship program. I will be meeting you soon there. You'll get the date and time there, right? So thank you everyone, right? Happy Ganesh
Thank you.
Chaturthi. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So shall we end the session now?
Yes, sir, I think so.
Okay. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good night.
What is the next session? Which is the next session?
Tomorrow it's economy session.
Okay. So please send it in the group there, right?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Thank you.